Examination-based context session, English and Academic Communication Skills 12 of 2020. I am your tutor, Rita Davids. Dear students, the examinations for 2020, that is April, August and November, are compiled by using the study guides of the following courses. DPPE, Diploma in Pre-Primary Education. DJPE, Diploma in Junior Primary Education. BESP, Bachelor of Education, Senior Primary. DES, Diploma in Education, Secondary. DSE, Diploma in Secondary Education. Examination. The following is important information for the examinations of the whole year. Format. The duration of each examination will be 2.5 hours and the scripts count 120 marks each. It is important that you answer all questions with subsections. Study material. All the following study guides can be found on your Kindles. Your study guide for DPPE Eacs12, the study guide for BESP Eacs12, and the Eacs12 study guide for DJPE, DSE, and DES students. Additional, English Handbook and Study Guide by B. Lutron and M. Pincus. The content of the DPPE and BESP study guides are exactly the same, and references will therefore be the same. DPPE and BESP students will also be referred to the Lutron book that has to be used as indicated in their study guides. The DJPE, DSE, and DES students only have to use the Eacs12 study guide. References will be made from this guide. General information. Please make use of old question papers and feedback of previous assignments and examinations in your preparation. There you will find questions and answers that could be of good use. Important. All answers consists of facts that you will have to study from your study guide, as well as the Lutron book for the DPPE and BESP students. For the language structured questions, you must understand the spoken and written language as well. Understanding the questions. Every piece of information can be assessed in a number of different ways. The examination papers are set up in 3 levels. Each question usually starts with a verb. Please pay special attention to the verbs used. These will guide you in what action you are expected to perform. Failing to perform the correct action will result in low marks and or the loss of valuable marks. Instructions. Important. Some students write everything in capital letters. Only use capital letters as indicated in the Eacs Study Guide 2.1.2 and in the Lutron book on page 10. The standard practice is to use sentence case. This is very important when you write letters, essays, grammatical sentences, etc. Your instructor must be able to see whether you know how to use capital letters. Very important. The paper is set up so that you write your answers on the paper itself. The number of lines given is always an indication of the expected length of your answer. Some students write way too much and give unnecessary information, while others write too little information. Always look at the marks allocated to each question to determine how many facts to write to obtain the correct marks. When you have to change sentences to the passive voice, indirect speech, or into the past tense, please only write the correct sentences. It can be very confusing to the marker if you first rewrite the given sentences and then the answer. Also, the space provided for your answers is limited and you might not be able to fit in the correct sentence. Scripts for 2020. References are done according to the Kindle, as all the students have the Kindle. Page references for the Lutheran book are also given. If you do not have access to the Lutheran handbook, please contact the Iol office or the tutor for assistance. The references given are for all students. See which refers to your own study material. The memorandums provide answers from all the study guides. All information will therefore be credited. Where applicable, students' own relevant ideas will also be credited. Please note, only one presentation will be recorded for the examination scripts of April, August and November. There will not be a presentation for each exam. For the April, August and November examinations, concentrate on the following. References are not done in any particular order. You might get the following in any of the 3 examination scripts. Passages. You will be given a passage in each examination. Here is what you will have to do concerning the passages. Read a given passage and then compile or set up questions using any of the W and H words, which are how, which, what, why, where, who, when. Who indicates a person or character? What tells us what happened? Why gives a reason? Where indicates a place? When indicates time? Which is asking for selection from 2 or a group. How to know more about the circumstances. These words are called relative pronouns and can be used to make a question or make a statement. Always use a capital letter when you start your questions and end with a question mark. The questions that you compile or set up must be about the content of the given passage. I must be able to find answers to your questions in the passage itself. Or you must read a certain passage very carefully and then answer the questions given in full sentences. For example, what did the man see on the table? The man saw the blue book on the table. Please concentrate on the use of correct grammar, correct spelling and punctuation. Half marks will be deducted for the incorrect use of these. Or you must read a certain passage very carefully and then answer the given questions in 1 to 5 word answers, which are called short answers. Samples for short answers are 1.1, the blue book. 1.2, 5 apples. 1.3, under the big chair. Parts of speech. You will be given different parts of speech to identify underlined words in sentences. You can find information about this in any good grammar book or in the Lutheran book on page 15. Every word in a sentence is named according to its function. See the list on the following slide. An adjective is a describing word, for example, blue, ugly, beautiful, sunny, etc. A pronoun stands in place of a noun. He, she, they, we, your, etc. A verb is a doing word. Sit, walk, cry, write, drive, sleep, etc. An adverb modifies or tells more about the verb. Neatly, tightly, recklessly, slowly, etc. A preposition is a small word which usually relate two words or phrases to one another. In, on, under, over, into, of, etc. A proper name are names and surnames of people, places, days of the week, like Peter, Windhoek, Sunday, Namibia, Angola, Checkers, etc. Please note that parts of speech have nothing to do with direct and indirect speech. Synonyms. Synonyms are words of the same or of similar meaning. A list of words will be given from which you must choose suitable synonyms to replace the word. For example, the word got used in sentences will be in one examination, and the word said you will get in another examination. You can find this in Lutheran on page 51. Synonyms are often interchangeable, but your choice is dependent on the context in which the existing word is used. This means that you must read the sentence to see if your answer fits the context of the sentences. Synonyms for big are spacious or massive. In the sentence, that is a big tree, the synonym for big cannot be spacious, but it must be massive. Unit 1. Linguistic constructs. Verbs. You must study the function of verbs. See this in the Eacs Study Guide 1.1.1.1 and in the Lutheran book on page 15 and 28. Auxiliary verbs. You will be given auxiliary verbs to finish given sentences. For example, could, are, can, has, should, will, etc. These verbs are also called helping verbs. It always precedes a verb. She has done her work. It regulates the tense of its sentence. We could see the sun rising. Study this in the Eacs Study Guide 1.1.1.3 and 1.4 and in the Lutheran book on page 29. Nouns. You must study the different types of nouns in order to identify the type of noun in a given sentence. Or you will be given different types of nouns and you must give your own example for each type. See the Eacs Study Guide 1.1.2.2 and the Lutheran book, page 16 and 19. Abstract noun usually refers to things that we cannot see, touch, or measure. It is often a feeling or an emotion. Concepts like freedom, love, and redemption are all examples of abstract nouns. Abstract nouns refer to concepts, ideas, philosophies, and other entities that cannot be concretely perceived. Collective noun. The name of a collection or a group of objects, people, or creatures. In general, collective nouns refer to a group of something in a specific manner. Collective nouns are used to refer to groups of animals are very common. For example, a gaggle, herds, a bevy, and a colony. Non-countable or uncountable nouns are something you cannot count, like milk, water, coffee, etc. Common nouns. These nouns refer to general, unspecific categories or entities. They are names given to ordinary objects, for example, table, chair, woman, tree, etc. Concrete noun is a type of common noun. Nouns that can be touched, smelled, seen, felt, or tasted. For example, table, steak, wool, perfume, child, etc. It can be perceived by at least one of our senses. Proper noun. These are nouns that refer to specific entities. It could be the name of a person, place, or a thing identified with a name. Writers capitalize proper nouns to show their distinction from common nouns. Pronouns. You will have to choose suitable pronouns to make a sentence less repetitive. Example: they, he, she, you, we, your, etc. Pronouns take the place of nouns when referring to people, places, or things. It performs a similar function to the noun. We use pronouns to avoid repetition. Pronouns will change depending on their usage, either as a subject or an object. When you rewrite a given sentence, do not change the sentence, only the unnecessary words. Prefixes and suffixes. You will have to complete words or sentences using prefixes or suffixes, or you will be given prefixes and suffixes to complete underlined words in sentences. Or you will have to circle the prefix or suffix in given words. Prefixes may create new words or antonyms. Prefixes come before the root of the word. Example: engage will change to disengage. Suffixes are word endings. They modify the words to which they are connected and often change the parts of speech of these words. Suffixes come after the root of the word. Example: free will become freedom. If the instruction is to circle the prefix or the suffix, do not underline it. I will not penalize you if you do underline them, but underlining is problematic since some students do not always underline all the necessary letters. Study this for each exam. See the Eacs Study Guide 1.2.2 and 1.2.3 and the Lutheran book, page 46 and 47. Clauses. You must be able to make sentences with relative pronouns as instructed. Relative pronouns are which, what, why, where, who, when. It can be used to make a question as well as a statement. For example, why did you do it is a question. That is why I hate violence is a statement. Study this under clauses in the Eacs Study Guide 1.3.2.1 and in the Lutheran book on page 19 and 20. Tenses. You will have to give the correct form of the verb in given sentences. For example, walk can change to walks, walked, or walking. Study this in the Study Guide 1.4 and the Lutheran book, page 28. Figurative language. You will be given words to choose from to complete similes. A simile compares two things using the words as or like. Or you will have to use given idioms in sentences of your own. Please do not explain the meaning of each idiom. You have to use the idiomatic expressions in sentences so that I can see if you understand the meaning of each. Find this in the Eacs Study Guide 1.5.1.1 and in the Lutheran book on page 40 and 56. Direct and indirect speech. You must be able to change sentences either to direct or indirect speech. When you change sentences from the direct to indirect speech, you must leave out the question mark and inverted commas. Pronouns also change. For example, my family changes to her or his family. Tenses also change. Example, Mary said, I am feeling good today. Mary said that she was feeling good that day. Study this for each exam in the Eacs Study Guide 1.6 and in the Lutheran book, page 38. Active and passive voice. You will be asked to change sentences from the active voice to the passive voice and vice versa. In the active voice, the subject of the sentence does the action. In the passive voice, the object becomes the subject and becomes the receiver of the action. Example, the boy, the subject, kicks the ball, the object, over the wall. It changes to the boy, object, is kicked over the wall by the boy, subject. Study this for each exam, please. In the study guide 1.7 and in the Luton book, page 32. Modality. You must be able to describe the term modality. See the Eacs study guide 1.8.1 and the DPP and BESP study guide 4.1.8.1. Unit 2. Different types of writing. Capitalization. Study the rules of capitalization. You will also have to rewrite sentences using the correct capitalization. For example, my name is Linda and I live in Windhoek. See the Eacs study guide 2.1.2 and the Lutheran book, page 10. Sentences and paragraphs. Study each part of the following: a topic sentence, supporting sentences, and a concluding sentence. You will also be asked to write an essay on a given topic in one of the examinations. Poor grammar, spelling, and punctuation are the main cause for loss of valuable marks. Always double check for these errors. See your study guide 2.2.1 and the Lutheran book on page 71. Make sure you know what you can or cannot use in formal standard writing. Formal writing and informal writing differs a lot. You cannot use the same language that you use in informal writing in formal writing. See your study guide under a note of formality 2.2.2 and the DPPE and BEST study guides 4.7.1. Structure and style of letters. Official or business letters and personal or friendly letters. Study the features and the parts of letters. You could be asked the following to describe the features or parts of certain letters. Here you can just list the facts. Or you can be asked to discuss the differences or similarities between the features of certain letters. Here you must clearly point out the differences or similarities between the two types of letters asked. Do not only list the features of the two types of letters without indicating what the differences or similarities are. One description after the other is not pointing out the differences or similarities. If a table format is used, the difference or similarities must still be clearly pointed out. Do not only write words or short sentences without clearly pointing out the differences or similarities. To explain the differences, the words while and but can be used to separate the two types. If asked differences, only discuss differences. If asked similarities, only discuss similarities. You can also be asked to compare the features of certain letters. Here, both the differences and similarities can be discussed. You will be asked to either write a personal or an official letter. Make sure you know the structure of each of these letters. Poor grammar, spelling, and punctuation are the main cause for loss of valuable marks. Always double check for these errors. Study this for each exam in the Eacs study guide 2.3.1 and 2.3.2 and in the Lutheran book, page 77 and 78. Punctuation and apostrophe. You must be able to explain the main function of certain punctuation marks. Or you must be able to name some of the different types of punctuation marks that are used in everyday writing. Or you must be able to write words using an apostrophe. Example, we have becomes we've. She will becomes she'll. And then you also get possessive forms, Susan's dress, the boy's shoes. Study this for each exam. In the Eacs Study Guide 2.4.1 under types of punctuation. And in the Lutheran book on page 10 and 13. Interdepartmental memorandums. You will have to explain how you will identify your reader when writing memorandums. The reader is the person or persons that will be reading the interdepartmental memorandum. A memorandum is a compact written message designed to help someone remember something. It is mostly used in businesses. See the Eacs Study Guide 2.9.1 and the DPPE and Best Study Guides 4.3. The editing process. Study how you will edit your own work for correctness. It does not matter whether you are busy with an assignment, examination, or just writing a note or WhatsApp. You must always check what you have written. See your Eacs Study Guide 2.12.1 and the Lutheran book on page 74. Unit 3. Academic Writing Conventions. Academic Literacy. You must be able to define descriptive writing, narrative writing, expository writing, and persuasive writing. This means to give the precise brief meaning of each. Or you will be asked to compare descriptive writing, narrative writing, persuasive writing, expository writing. And this means to indicate similarities and differences regarding particular criteria. You can be asked to describe the purpose of descriptive writing, narrative writing, persuasive writing, expository writing. This means to provide detailed features of each. See your Eacs Study Guide 3.2.1 and the Lutheran book under essay writing on page 75 and 76. Study this for each exam. In each exam, there will be different questions concerning the four purposes of academic literacy or essay writing. You will also be asked to write a short report on a given topic in one of the examinations. Always double check your grammar, spelling, and punctuation, which are most often the main cause for loss of valuable marks. Genres in academic writing. A book review. Study what to look for when you want to write a good book review. Writing a book review is one of the genres of academic writing. This must therefore be done in a certain manner. See your Eacs Study Guide 3.4.5.5 and the Lutheran book on page 82. Factors that determine academic writing style. You must be able to explain what makes writing academic. Academic writing must be done in a particular style. See your Eacs Study Guide 3.5.1 and the DPPE and Best Study Guides 4.7. Study guidelines for writing summaries. You must be able to explain the summarizing techniques when you want to produce a summary. A summary is produced to show a tutor that you have read and understood something. This must be done in a particular way. See your Study Guide 3.6.1 and your Lutheran book on page 83. Mind maps. You will have to explain what a mind map is. Mind maps can be of good use when studying. In the Eacs Study Guide 3.7.1 and in the Lutheran book on page 71. Integration of academic sources. You must know why quotes or quotations are necessary in academic writing. Quotation is a type of source integration as part of academic writing. Please do not confuse quotations with quotation marks. A quotation mark is a type of punctuation. See the Eacs Study Guide 3.8.4. Unit 4. Using the AA referencing system. The concept plagiarism. You have to know what plagiarism is, what is considered plagiarism, and the consequences when committing plagiarism. Too many students still do not understand what plagiarism is and why you cannot commit plagiarism when doing your assignments. Study plagiarism for each exam. In your Eacs Study Guide, page X11 and 4.1.1. In the DPPE and BESP Study Guides on page 8. Ways to avoid plagiarism. Quotes. You must be able to discuss the use of quotes in academic writing. One way to avoid plagiarism is to use quotes. Please do not confuse quotes with quotation marks. See your Eacs Study Guide 4.1.2 and the DPPE and BESP Study Guide 4.8. General rules of the APA citations. Study how you will compile your APA reference page. Also know how to compile a list of references. Please note that the reference page and the list of references are not exactly the same. Study this for each exam. In the Eacs Study Guide 4.2.1 and 4.2.2.1 and in the DPP and BEST Study Guides 4.8. Examination preparation and writing tips. Exam timetable. Make sure you know what rooms your exams will be in and what time they start. Consult the Iol officers for those details and not the subject tutor. During the examinations, write your details as requested. Do not dive into writing without first reading the entire paper. Read the exam paper several times to make sure you understand the instructions and questions. Make sure you answer all questions. Calculate how much time you will give to each question and stick to it. Please make sure that you answer all 4 questions and subsections. If time permits, check your answers, spelling, punctuation, and use of grammar. Emergency. If you fall ill during the exam session, immediately notify the invigilator for the correct action to be taken. General. Obtaining high marks in your assignment does not guarantee high marks in the examinations. You now have to make sure you know the content of the assignment and other information from the study guide very well to succeed in the examination. Make sure that you have all the information you get from the contact sessions and the feedbacks of the assignments and previous examinations. You will find very important and useful information in these documents. Please study hard for the upcoming examinations to be successful. If you need my help for something, contact me via email. See the address on next slide. If you state what you do not understand or ask a question, I can give you a well-constructed answer. I can share a document with important information extracted from the English Handbook and Study Guide with you. I can also send information via WhatsApp on your cell phone. Always state which course you are doing when you are requesting help, please. DJPE, DPPE, BESP, DES or DSE. I wish you all the best. Rita Davids.